All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart HVAC Marketing / Smart Garage Door Marketing podcast. This week we got no other than Mr. Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door. Super excited to dive in and chat with Tommy on this episode about how you can build not just a culture that people want to work at, but also a culture that people want to stay at, which is probably more important in my opinion. So, Tommy, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and dig in.
Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, everyone out there? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart HVAC Marketing Podcast, where we believe that the best idea wins. And in order to do that, we got to bring on smart people to help us generate some good ideas. So we've got Tommy with us. Tommy, how are you doing?
I'm great. Things are never been better. We're setting record days, record weeks, record months. Some people are scared. They feel like, we're in a technical recession, but for me, it's all an opportunity. I mean, literally watching people get scared. I see so many victims out there, so many people that just say, yeah, but you don't understand. Yeah, but. And I just, it's crazy. There's so many opportunities and a bad economy is when people get either filthy rich or go out of business.
Yeah. What are some of those opportunities that you're seeing right off the bat?
Well, companies want to sell to us. They understand that we're going to keep their guys busy. This is a lot about marketing. And one of the things that I see people fail at is the first thing they cut is marketing instead of cutting their bad performers. And I love my employees and I call them my coworkers. But at the end of the day, if they don't have the right attitude, they're rolling their eyes in meetings. That's a problem with me if I keep them. And a lot of people, they have a hard time having tough conversations. And I find that to be one of the most important reasons company fails is because you're not willing to have those tough conversations and you let some of your high performers dictate the outcome rather than leadership and coaching and the fundamentals of business that a lot of people fail at.
Yeah. Well, they say that like the culture is defined by the worst behavior that the leader will tolerate, right?
That's a great, I never heard that before, but that's fantastic.
Yeah. So when we're talking about recession, people laying people off, cutting marketing, making huge mistakes, for you as someone that sees opportunity in recession, what are you looking for in those people who are either leaving or getting laid off?
All I care about is they believe in themselves. I talked to one of my top technicians. He's at a $10,000 job. I said, "How'd you do it?" He said, "I'm MFing Brandon Colby." He said, "What would you expect? Nothing but the best." And then I got on my Morning Mojo call and I said, if everybody believes in themselves the way that this guy does, the way that I believe in myself, then we're going to win. So the first thing I look for, can they tell a great story? Do they make eye contact? Do they have a good handshake? Do they believe in themselves? So they believe in themselves. I know they're going to believe in me, the company, the tools, the parts. So that's the biggest factor is, are they not afraid? I say this a lot. Charles Darwin figured out the number one thing of a species to survive is not the intelligence, it's the ability to change and adapt. And if the person is willing to listen, if they're coachable and they believe in themselves, they're going to win.
Yeah. So what happens when you get someone who maybe has skills, soft skills or hard skills that you particularly admire in your organization, but maybe they're a little on the timid side. Maybe they don't have that confidence yet. What would you recommend for people trying to build up that confidence within their team?
Well, typically I don't bring in people. There's certain people that don't need to have that confidence, and there's a spot for them in the company. But I don't believe in building broken people. I'm not Starbucks. I find winners and I make them do garage doors. But typically what I say is, practice. Look, I used to hate public speaking. It was difficult for me. I'll get in front of 5,000 people. I don't give two shits now because I practiced every day. I got in front of the mirror. I did it over and over. And one of the things I figured out is I don't like speaking about things that I don't know very well. But if all I get up on stage is tell stories and smile and enjoy myself, it's easy. So, what we do is we practice over and over and over and over. We call it practicing. Some people call it role play. But if I walked into our building next door, the training center, there's 50 guys in there practicing all day scenarios. We've got a real kitchen. We've got a real living room. We've got real life scenarios. So the best thing I could tell you is you need to practice and you need to be able to do it in front of people over and over again. And once you do that, you're ready for a customer. Do not pay people to practice in front of a client. That is stupid and it doesn't work and you'll lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Do you like any sports at all? Are you a big sports fan?
You name it. I did a lot of sports. I wrestled. I played football, baseball, soccer. I was on the golf team. You name it, I've done it. And I'm a big fan of sports, and I'm very competitive. I like to win. I shoot pool. I go bowling. The last graduation class, I said there's 6 guys on each. I was on the second lane, and there was all these other lanes full. Everybody crowded around. I said, whoever beats me on each lane, and I'm only playing this one, but the score matters, I said I'll give $1,000 to. And I got 5 strikes. I went 5 strikes out to win.
Dang.
Because I don't like to lose.
So with most sports, I'd say other than bowling, when we're talking about practice, we're talking about practice.
Yeah, I did 2-a-days for 6 days to play 1 game in football.
Yeah.
And guess what? You practice every day. And I talk about this all the time for sports. You practice, but for some reason you just do 2 ride-alongs and now you're on your own in most companies.
Yeah. Here's a flashlight. So when we're talking about practice, even sports, this is like a great analogy for this. When we're practicing a sport, you all don't just get together on the field and say, all right, go scrimmage each other. We're going to do a 60-minute full-fledged football game. Now you're going to practice different drills over and over again. You're not going to practice the full game. You're going to practice the playbook. You're going to practice the drills individually for that routine. Same thing here, right?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but look, my best coaches, here's the difference. When we're bringing up sports, my best coaches, they cared more about me out of the game. They cared that I got fed that night. My mom was working 3 jobs. And a good coach cares about everything, not only the plays you run, but they care about you genuinely. They care that you're taking care of yourself. They care that about you getting good grades, you're getting fed that night. And if our coaches and managers just cared a little bit more about us, and who cares about the company's goals? I don't give 2 shits about A1 Garage Doors goals. Because I know for a fact that if every technician and CSR and dispatcher and installer hits their goals, my goals are going to come alive. We're going to hit every metric we wanted. But they don't care about our goals. They want to know, do I got a food for my kids? Do I got a roof over my for my kids? Everything. Here's what I want. I want home ownership, great credit scores. I want them to be their soccer coach. I want them to be home for supper. If we can make that happen, we're going to have a good company. And they make a lot of money. And we teach them how to save money. We got a dream manager. We've got a Dave Ramsey program. We pay a portion of AFLAC. We pay weekly. We give them a new truck. We've got a 401k. We pay for their insurance, a lot of PTO. We give them their tools. Not a lot of companies do this, and we charge appropriately.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So kind of backing up, you mentioned that you've got the training center with the kitchen, and there's people, there's 50 people over there at any given point in time training. What did A1 Garage look like before that all got put into place?
Before we had really great training, we've had 3 different training centers, but before great training, it was a mess. There was no expected result. There was no checklist, no standard operating procedure, no manuals. And it just was the talent of the people. I try to get guys from other companies that had great experience and try to get them a little bit to figure out what my vision was. But there was no expected result. There was no consistency. And it was basically luck. If I made a lot of money one week, it was luck. And it wasn't based on a system. And what I've learned about most businesses is there's 3 reasons why a system fails. Number one, there is no system. Number two, it's the wrong system. And number three, which is the most common, the system is not being followed because there's no checks and balances. And I look at these companies, man, and I'm telling you, they don't know what's broken. They don't have any good reporting. Hence the word CRM, customer relation management system. It tells me my booking rate, my average ticket, my conversion rate, things that matter, my cost per acquisition, attribution models.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a data geek, and I make decisions based on data.
I love it.
I've got 5,000 call tracking numbers.
Of those 5,000, how many of those are on like print materials? I mean, you have one for every type of
Valpak I do. Just in Phoenix, I think we have like 100 call tracking numbers on Valpak alone. I want to know what zone per 10,000 are doing what. So every mailer, every single zone is a separate phone number, and it's a local one. How many times you open up a mailer and you see 8 phone numbers on it? Number one, I think it's a national company, and I don't want to call some big-ass company. I want to call the local company. So I got rid of 800 numbers, too, because no one wants to call an 800 number. Like, look, I hate calling 800 numbers for my cable. Now, and another quick thing to tell people is get rid of your IVR. I've got an IVR that only says press any button if you're a human, because IVRs press 1 if you'd like to get a hold of this, press 2 if you'd like to get a hold of this. No customer wants to deal with that for home service when their shit breaks.
Yeah. No, I agree. So when we're thinking about like processes, like you said, there's 3 things going on here. They don't have a process, it's the wrong process, or it's not being followed. Obviously, having no process is pretty easy to identify because it's just total free for all. You got people running around doing whatever they want. But when it comes to identifying it as the wrong process, what are kind of the steps that someone should take to identify that to be able to correct it?
So we've got a data integrity team. The guy's name that runs it is Yuli. He's got 4 monitors like I have. And we've got systems for checks and balances. For example, we use ServiceTitan as a CRM. One day I looked into ServiceTitan and I looked at the jobs and I found almost every guy had the same sticker. They were just uploading a sticker rather than taking a picture. So I called ServiceTitan. I called one of the head developers, and they changed it that you can't upload pictures. You got to take a picture from scratch, and that's the only way it works. So it's paying attention to the data. Because I could break things pretty easily, I try to break them. I try to find out a flaw. I have my top 5 guys figure out a way to beat the system, and then I fix it, and I pay them to find mistakes. Mm-hmm. I literally I celebrate when somebody could bust something up, because they will. Anybody, look, I call it creative justification. People find a way, and then they justify it.
Mm-hmm. So with systems that are not being followed, that almost goes back now. I mean, that's not the wrong system or no system. There is a system and it's not being followed because you got some knuckleheads.
Well, secret shoppers, ServiceTitan we've taken over 100 jobs, 100 pictures per job. We use a scale on every door to make sure it's weighed right, that we can prove to the client what the issue was. We do a lot of calling to make sure everything's right. We send text messages to the client to make sure they're getting everything offered correctly. And everything that I do, I guarantee there's still things I need to work on. That's what's so good is I don't feel like I've made it. I never will. I'm a student for life. I'm asking a lot of questions. My job is to ask questions. I tell people I live on Mars. I look down at Earth, and I look for volcanoes. I look for earthquakes. I look for hurricanes. And I go in and I ask a lot of questions. And by asking questions, people start self-policing themselves. They start noticing that I'm watching. That's all they need to know is there's not a time I'm going to come in here on a Sunday night. Listen, I'm here randomly. I'm here all the time, and I'm looking at everything. I'm asking a lot of questions. And I'm not a dictator. This is a great company. There's a lot of decision makers here. There's not too many chiefs, but overall, there's a good hierarchy. We understand what our org chart looks like, and I never, ever go against the org chart. And that's one thing that most owners do is they get in their own way, and they don't give people the ability to make their own decisions. But they don't hire right either. They hire losers that are worse than them. I hire people that are smarter than me.
Yeah. So I know we mentioned earlier, like when we're talking about people that you want to hire, you want people that are confident, that, they're they know that they're the man or whoever it is, and they got their shit together. What are some other qualities that you look for that, like, all right, this person's going to be an awesome employee or coworker, as you would say?
Well, the deal is there's two types of employees. One of them is CSR, dispatcher, technician, or installer. That's one class. There's another class of like CFO, market manager. I look for somebody that's got a track record of leadership, that can do their job well, I do not want them learning on my dime. I will pay them several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and give them equity in my company and give them a stake in the outcome. There's not a person here that doesn't get paid for performance for the most part. I mean, I'm working on getting the cleaning lady under performance pay. I'm still working on that one. But overall, I don't care how much money you make. You're allowed to make an uncapped amount of money. And some people make $300,000-400,000. I mean, I got people that make $500,000 actually, a couple. And I don't care. I've got over 50 technicians that make over $200,000. I don't give two shits. They're doing amazing. And people say, how is it possible to pay somebody $200,000? As a technician, I say, well, they do well over $1 million a piece. Most companies don't do over $1 million with 10 technicians.
Yeah.
So, and the fact is, we get 5-star reviews every day because of it. We take care of customers like we take care of our mom.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, this seems to be the challenge, and this was something that I kind of hit on with I call it the Rival Roadshow. Thursday mornings, I'm driving to work. I go live on Facebook and just kind of rant. I was ranting about recruitment because you see so many people online now. They're just like, I can't find anyone. I can't find anyone.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with this.
or they go on there and say, $5,000 sign-on bonus. I was like, okay, cool. Everyone else is doing that. You're in a sea of sameness here.
Well, they don't recruit. They hire. They go to the unemployment line on Craigslist and Indeed and Monster and there's about 10 other sites that I could probably name off. Career Builder. There's a lot of them. You're not going to find good people on the unemployment line, number one. Number two is, if I do a search for you in your company and I go on Indeed or Glassdoor, you look like shit because every ex-employee that you fired left a review and you never got good employees leaving reviews. Number three, you don't have your pages built out and videos. Go look at mine. But at the end of the day, the fact is, you said high school sports or military. Here's the deal. I had guys with binoculars watching me at baseball games. They came out and they offered me opportunities. I got a scholarship. Here's the end of the day. You go out and you find them. Do you think I got the servers? You think I gave 2 girls? I was with my girlfriend. But do you think I gave one of the gals, her boyfriend works in another garage door company. The other girl walks up to me and says, are you Tommy Mello? She goes, my boyfriend wants to apply at your company. I gave them both my cell phones. I actively recruit every day. I go out and make my own luck. Everybody's, nobody wants to work for me. Who would want to work for you? You suck. You don't give anybody. Look, people are allowed to make a lot of money here. They're allowed to get a great credit score. They're allowed to take their wife on a great vacation that's enforced PTO. Mm-hmm. I want to be a person that people love to work for. I care about them. I made a list. There's a great book called The Compound Effect on my shelf. And Darren Hardy explains the 100 things that he wrote down in a wife that he wanted. And then he looks at his list of 100 things and goes, I'm unworthy of this woman. That she would never go for a guy like me. So he had to write down 100 things he would need to become to even get a chick like that. Well, guess what? I wrote down, I didn't get to 100, but I had to write down the qualities that somebody would want to work for. What's in it for them? You need to communicate. You need to give them a letter to success. You need to feed them. Literally. We had lunch and dinner for everybody yesterday. Like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know what I gave away yesterday? I'm going skydiving with a guy. We gave a grill out yesterday. We gave a cooler out yesterday. We gave a mini fridge out yesterday. We gave a Garmin watch for golf out yesterday. I gave 3 people $100 cash because they did the contest. I only want to do more of this. Literally, when I buy a nice big house right now, I have a nice house. I'm going to be buying a really, really big house. I'm going to have employees over every single day. People say, you can't tell employees how much you make. Bullshit. They helped me buy the house. I'm going to have them over every day. If they want to use my house for their family reunion, they could use it because I care more about them than I care about myself. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, you're just built different. It sounds like.
I don't know. Here's the deal. I came from nothing. Take the guy out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of the guy. I came from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Nice house, 1,700 square feet. But ultimately, money brings problems to a lot of people. All it does for me is that it increases what I could do in the world. At the end of the day, I lived in an apartment for 4 years, even though I had 2 big houses. I chose to live in 1,100 square feet because, quite frankly, when things break, there's a lot to worry about. There's a reason Mark Zuckerberg wears a T-shirt every day. He doesn't want to have to think about it. He's got 18 of the same T-shirts. Mm-hmm. And the less I have to deal with the shit I go through on a day-to-day, I just don't look. Money brings a lot of problems. It'll never change me. And I'm not flaunting. You're never going to see me riding around in a Ferrari like half these yahoos out here that got lucky. A lot of these guys did get lucky. A lot of them worked hard. But you want a Ferrari, it makes you feel better, great. But if you want to be known for that guy that drives a Ferrari, I don't know. You probably got other issues.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, so when people are like, they said they can't find anyone. What I was ranting about the other day, and I'd love to hear your take on this, and you've kind of already touched on this, is the opportunity that people fail to present. Like I've already heard it in our conversation here. You're saying there's opportunity at your company to make X amount of dollars or to go on that vacation or go skydiving and do those things you've always wanted to do. So many companies fail to do that. All they care about is, I'm going to give you a $5,000 sign-on bonus and you're going to get a quick little cash grab and then it's going to be miserable until you quit.
My buddy owns a company called Rapid Hire. At rapidhirepro.com. His name's Jody Underhill. And he tells me about a dozen clients out of 100 that they're not putting the right bait out there. When you go fishing, you can't just put a hook out there. No one's going to bite. You've got to have the right lures. And unfortunately, people they're so short-sighted. They say, me. They don't understand. I took all the risk. Me. Yet they have a Harley Davidson and they go on vacation every other weekend. And they use the company to live a lifestyle that's ridiculous. First thing you need to do is put in your sweat equity and pay back the company in dividends if you want it to work for you. And you need to let the people make a lot of money. Look, we're at 23.8% bottom line. 23.8. We have brand new iPads. Brand new. I've got the nicest system I know of. And I'm not bragging by any means. Listen, I'm not here to tell anybody that they're bad. We're priced right. We have a high conversion rate, high average ticket. We have a really, really high booking rate. I take care of each and every person here. I allow them to live their dreams. You see, if enough people hit their dreams, my dream will come true. So my dream's got to be big enough to fit all the other dreams inside of it. And what I can tell you is these companies, they just don't give a shit. They think they're the one that did everything. They think they're the only ones that, if I don't do it, it won't get done right. And that attitude is just, you're an employee in your own company. You should come work with me. You could be an entrepreneur because, quite honestly, most of the companies that I know, they don't care enough. They don't love enough. They don't put their heart out there. My mom used to cry and say, Tommy, I'm so sad. People are stealing from me every day. I said, Mom, for every person that steals, there's 100 people doing good things. We're over 600 people. Next month, we got 70 new people coming on. This month, we've got 60. And I say, Mom, don't feel sorry for me. I'm very fortunate. And I don't dwell on the negative. So many people, they dwell on the negative. And it's so sad. And I'm not here to lecture anybody. Listen, at the end of the day, a lot of people, the reason I'm able to do this is because I've been there. And I feel like I could talk about it because if it could happen, Murphy's Law, it did happen to me. I owed the IRS money. I was working in a truck. I had a broken down truck every week. I bought the shittiest Dodge vehicles you could ever see, the trucks I was driving, $2,300, the crappiest wrap. I mean, look, I made every mistake, so I feel like it's okay for me to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, it's good stuff for sure. And I think hopefully, if you're listening to this right now, hopefully this has been a little bit of a gut punch for you. It's kind of been a gut punch for me, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I think more leaders in business should be like that. should be willing to fit other people's dreams into, like you said, into your dream, is to have their dreams come true. And so many people just want workers to come make them a quick buck and burn
Wait
them
till the
off.
day that somebody texts you they bought a house, or they brought a new kid into this world, or they're going on their dream vacation, or they're taking their wife on an anniversary that they never thought possible. Let me show you this text message from yesterday, and I'll have you read it if you can read my cell phone. This is what gets me up in the morning, and it is contagious, and you're going to want more of it, and it is going to change your life when you start getting these text messages and caring. Can you read that?
Yeah, here we go. If you were to tell me 5 years ago I'd make six figures at 22, I'd say you were crazy. I'm very thankful to work for this company and have the opportunities we are set up with. I'm very thankful to be working for you and Tommy.
That's
Exclamation point.
Detroit, one of the technicians. Tell me that doesn't get me excited. Tell me that doesn't make me want to try harder. Tell me that doesn't get me up early in the morning and keep me staying to work late. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
And guess what? Everybody that gets to work with me, I want their lives to be blessed. And I'm a servant. Yeah. And I want to increase people's lives, and I want more people to have the life that this guy has.
So how can business owners just practically put this right into place, like in order to attract better people and retain people longer?
Well, number one is you can't go into a market. There's a good book called 100 Million Offers, and it's by Alex Hormozy, and he explains that you need to be priced right. So many people are on Facebook going, oh, they charge too much. They're a ripoff. How the hell do you know what to charge? First of all, you go copy everybody else. You need to figure out your total expenses and add your margin, and then build your price book based on that. And so many people are doing it wrong. So many jealous people. They think they're MacGyver. They rig something up. They call it upsells. I call it taking care of people. Because if you're going to go out to that house twice a year, you're a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And they brag on how cheap they are. How many people do you see on these Facebook groups that are just not making money? They brag that they don't need to wrap their truck. They got their wife working for free. Their son's working for $12 an hour, and they brag because they get charged less. Here's the biggest mistake in history, Eric. People say they take care of their customers, but they screw their employees over. If your employees can't make $100,000, if they can't have insurance, if they can't have a 401k and dental and PTO and brand new trucks and get paid weekly and we pay for a life insurance policy. If they can't have all those things, then you're screwing your employees over. I don't care about your customers. That's bullshit. So I don't want to care how you're so cheap. I want to care that you're able to take care of people. That's number one. So I don't want to care about your cheap prices that you give your customers, because you're screwing your internal customers over. I'm really passionate about that.
Yeah, let's keep it going. I look, I can attest to this right now. I briefly, I guess emphasis word here is briefly, worked at a place one time, and it wasn't their mission statement, but it was on the wall, and it said that our objective was to serve our clients, and then it was like serve God, and then the third part was serve our employees. And it was like the one thing that was totally burnt out and missing at that entire company was the culture and the people. We were all just completely run down.
I don't care. The customers come last for me. If I take care of my people, the customers will get taken care of. I think God's pretty important as well. I'm not going to say, but ultimately, I do believe that the people come first. And I do believe literally at the end of the day, when I had a line during COVID outside of my office of everybody they were turning in all their PTO, giving it to other employees that needed it. That several people wanted to take demotions. We didn't have to do that. We didn't need to get rid of any sick days. But that's the kind of caliber of people that we attract. The people that care more about their coworkers.
Yeah.
And you can't make this stuff up.
You can't. And I know it seems like a lot of people want this, but they're not really ready to do what it takes. So when you started putting this into place, like when you went all in on people first to build a good culture, to build a good company, what was, I guess, the most immediate step or course of action that you took?
Number one is read Alan Rohr's book. where did the money go, and getting your prices right. The first thing is, if you don't have money, I'll tell you what, if you're barely making payroll, you can't think about culture. If you're barely making ends meet, it's so hard to talk about treating people good. You're a firefighter. You're burning the candle on both ends. It's like, I get that. And you're never going to be able to run a good business when you're barely making ends meet. And trust me, I had to loan the company money several times. I was writing a check just to have money to make payroll. I mean, it seems like a year ago, but this is 5-6 years ago, before I started my own podcast. So ultimately, you got to have the money to do nice things. And then you need to understand discipline. You need to know that you don't need to buy a Harley today. You need to understand and to purchase appreciating assets, and then put your blinders on. There's a reason racehorses wear blinders. The stadium's loud. There's a lot of distractions. They are focused. They got their eye on the one thing, and that's winning. There's a great book by Gary Keller called The One Thing. If you're focused and you say no, listen, your buddy wanted you to invest in a restaurant. You got to flip real estate deal. You got this, you got this, you got this. Focus on your business. Double down on that. And the answer for an ADD entrepreneur visionary is not to say no. It's to say just not right now. So we have a hard time saying no. I just say now's not the right time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said yes to being on the podcast today.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I get really excited, man. And I really, I realize some of the things I said, and I don't want people to think I'm condescending, because that's not how I want to be perceived. I just want them to know that I care, and I've been there, and I want more for everybody. When you really get to know me, you'll understand that I'm not here to insult anybody. I'm here to help people's lives get enriched. Mm-hmm. I'm here for relationships, and I truly want to help. I'm not here to be condescending and some type of prick. I don't need to yell or scream at people. I get very passionate. I get excited. I get amped up. But I don't like people to feel bad about themselves. But if you do, if something today hits you hard, all I'm asking is make a change. Put some stuff on your calendar. The problem is most people have failure to implement things, and they're going to listen to this. Maybe they're going to get a reaction. Maybe the next 2 weeks they're going to try a little harder, but it's short-lived. So what I would ask is make some changes, some real changes, and start to look at what's in it for them instead of what's in it for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. So let's talk about Vertical Track. That's coming up like now-ish.
Next week, brother.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I got Ken Goodrich. He's, the owner of Gettle, Monster. Keith Mercurio was at Nexter Network. He trains the top executives at ServiceTitan, including Ara and Vahe. I can't even explain the speakers. Al Levy's going to be there. He wrote the 7 Power Contractor. He's one of my mentors.
He's awesome.
We're there to change lives. We're there to help people understand what needs to happen today. There's 2 things that happen at these shows. Some of the times it's the fundamentals of a morning mojo call, what we call. Sometimes it's understanding how to have more powerful meetings and understand your key performance indicators. And then sometimes it's all the mental stuff. And sometimes companies go too far. Like it's all about rah, 10X, Grant Cardone. They go too much of, the Tony Robbins shit. And sometimes they go too much of just the day-to-day. This is a collage of both, because I think you got to get motivated. You got to make changes. And I promise you one thing, if you come to this, your life is going to change and your business is going to get better. I'm only there. Listen, I'm going to lose money on this, and I don't care about the money. These events, they don't make money. I've got a garage door group, and a lot of the companies want to partner with me. There's the thing is, every time I give, I get 10 times in return. It's crazy to be a servant. Mm-hmm. And I've really understood the concept of just give without expecting anything in return. And trust me, there's a lot that comes. I don't ask for it, but it just seems to happen. People find me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know yesterday when I went out to get a salad at a dinner and then love on my girlfriend that the gal would walk up to me and say, my boyfriend wants to apply, and the other gal's boyfriend works at another garage door company. That's not by chance. Mm-hmm. There's something that we're putting out there. And this, I promise you, if you come to Vertical Track, I promise you, I'll give you your money back if you don't get value. If you don't get value from the first day, I'm opening up my shop. I'm going to show everybody our training center. You get to meet my recruiters, my trainers. You get to see I got a Harley Davidson in the other. I did buy a Harley. It was a cheap one, but I use it for display. I got a dirt bike. I've got golf clubs in there. I created a real life scenario in the garage. And I think everybody should get a chance to see what we have here because it's going to change your mindset on the way you need to treat people.
Yeah, that's good stuff. No, I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event. What day does it end?
October 12th through the 14th. It's going to be a game changer. It's going to be the casino. And here's the coolest thing. The odds are very good at winning at this casino, especially in blackjack.
Sounds like you know that from personal experience.
I'm not a big gambler, but I went there with a buddy of mine, and they got the blackjack, and they got these two little circles that like the odds. And I don't know, man. He's like, bet 100 on these, and I'm like, those never win, dude. Those are the worst odds. I put 100 on it. I freaking won every time. I mean, I walked out of there with like $3,000, and I'm not a big gambler, like I said. I have fun. Usually, I'll throw a few $100 out there. If I lose it, it's gone. I don't chase the money, but I'll tell you what, I love this place because it doesn't feel like Vegas. It's actually really clean, and there's a golf course, and it's nice. The food's really good. There's a lot of stuff to do. So we picked a great venue. The speakers are going to be amazing, but more importantly, the friendships and the relationships that are going to come out of this are just they're endless. They're timeless. Yeah. And when I look for people that come help me, I know they got great work ethic, and I know they're great people, but really, let me give you a quick example, closing here. I couldn't get any trucks. I called the president of the company. His name's Dan Miller. And he goes, let me make a few phone calls. He called me back. He's like, I just got 300 Dodge ProMasters for us. He called his buddy from U of M, University of Michigan. That's the kind of things that are that's what I want to bring to people is my Rolodex. Because I've tried everything. You don't need to make the same mistakes I've made.
Yeah. That's real. That's good stuff.
It's real, brother. It's the real deal. Let me read you a quote real quick. You're going to like this quote. I got to find it. I posted it on my Facebook. Make sure you add me on Facebook. And then if you guys want to follow any of my crap, it's official Tommy Mello on TikTok and Instagram. Official Tommy Mello with no W. And I put out as much stuff. I put out a lot of great content, a lot of funny stuff. I just have fun, man. Literally, like to me, I go through life in a way that most people can't imagine because I just love Mondays. I love waking up. And this quote is going to hit you, I think. I think you're really going to enjoy this quote. It's coming. It's coming. Brandon Vaughn is going to be there too. He's a genius. He's going to be speaking. So the master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he was always doing both.
That's good stuff.
And I think that's kind of my creed. I live by that.
Get that tattooed on you.
I might. I don't have any tattoos, but maybe that one I should it's right here on the gun show.
That's right. Boom. That's the mic drop. Little piece of advice I've also got for any gamblers out there. This came to mind when we were talking about lucky gambling. If you're in Vegas ever, I've always noticed that the slot machine closest to the door is the one that wins. And there's a theory that they do that so that when people are walking by and they see someone winning on the inside, that they're more intrigued to come into their casino.
Very good. And those things are programmable. They build the odds into the machines. So very interesting. And here's another tip. The smaller casinos, the older ones, they have to have better odds to attract people. So, like the single deck, there's still a couple Vegas casinos that have a single deck, which makes it easier to predict the cards in blackjack.
That's good stuff. Here we are talking about gambling.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? All right. Well, Tommy, this has been awesome. How can people connect with you, learn more, dig in?
So I wrote a book called The Home Service Millionaire. It's on Audible. I recommend the Audible version. I narrated it myself. I've got a podcast, The Home Service Expert. Now we're getting about 40,000 downloads a month. I have a good time on that. I get it. Look, I get really smart people on the podcast, ask them a lot of questions. And then finally, I'm coming out with a new book called it's called Elevate. Build a company which everybody wins. The customers win, the employees win, I win, the vendors win, and our partnerships win. And there's no reason why somebody needs to lose. And that's the wrong way of looking at life. I believe that everybody is allowed to win.
That's right.
You'll be able to order Elevate here. I forget the name of the website that we bought, but it's something like Everybody Wins. It'll be up here. If you're at Vertical Track, you'll be able to get the book in advance. And I promise you one thing. I'm giving away everything. I'm giving my ride-along forms. I built a course. I went to San Francisco and recorded for 3 days. And I'm including, like, look, people are like, why do you give everything away? And I'm like, because if I told you how to hit a golf ball 300 yards, do you think you could go do it? You know, at the end of the day, these people got to implement it. Only 1% will.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they do, because they're allowed to win. Because they win doesn't mean I lose. The greatest thing about Starbucks is every freaking coffee house made more money when Starbucks came out. The restaurants started charging for coffee. They used to give it away for free. I want a Starbucks, the home service industry. So that's how to get a hold of me. Don't be afraid to reach out. If you need help with anything, I'm a pretty open book. I think you'll realize that here after this podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Tommy, thank you again for your time. Really appreciated it, and hope to run into you soon at a show or a conference or something.
I'm sure we will, Eric. Listen,
absolutely.
I appreciate you very much, man. You seem like a great guy. Thank you for putting on this podcast. I'm sure there's a lot of value being given. So keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.